Alright, this is John Cole at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode we're going to be talking about the Nutramilk machine that we've been selling now for, probably at least a year now. It's definitely been a good seller, and I've only gotten actually excellent feedback from all the customers we've sold it to so far. They love their Nutramilk, man. Not only can they make their own plant-based milks, which have gotten many of my customers actually off the dairy products, which in my opinion are actually not that healthy, and we actually really should not be consuming them. So the Nutramilk is literally the easiest way and best way that I've found so far to make nut milks. Furthermore, one of the things I like more than nut milks is I like nut butters. Nut butters are amazing, but if you guys go to price like, organic, natural nut butters in the store, one jar could cost like 15 bucks. But with the Nutramilk, you guys could make your own nut butters at home. As the machine is set up is how it originally came out, probably about a year ago now. It's actually set up so you could easily make nut milks, and it can also make the nut butters. That being said, Nutramilk has listened to customer feedback, and now they've even made it even better. So they actually have a dedicated bowl to make the nut butters, as well as smoothies, as well as other food processor style uses that you would use. So this just basically has an S blade in there, like that's common in a food processor. Plus it has these automatic times that literally scoop things off the side. So whether you want to make a hummus or a salsa, or actually I like to make a cauliflower pizza crust in my food processor, which then I will dehydrate. This is the best way to do it because literally the tines will keep the walls scooped down so that all your mixtures is folded into the blade and getting properly processed. So here's the thing, right? This attachment, if you bought it alone, retails for over $100. But if you buy it when you get the Nutramilk machine, it's only an additional approximately $50 at this time. That is a limited promotional price that may go up at any time. So if you're watching this video a couple years after it was made, or even a year after, that may be different, so be forewarned. Anyways, I think this is an excellent attachment. If you're going to go for a Nutramilk, you might as well get this because it allows you to give you a further flexibility and also a little bit easier cleaning. Let me explain. So this machine right here can do the nut butters as well as other, food processors type jobs. The way that works is because inside this bowl here, which has a nice large lid, we can take that off. There's basically an outer bowl and an inner bowl. So the outer bowl is what you're seeing here. This is the outer bowl. And now with this attachment, this is the part that actually makes the nut milks possible because literally it has the screens built into the side, so that actually just drops down in there so that when you're processing making nut milks, it easily extracts the nut milks without you having to wring out a nut milk bag like you're milking a cow. And then also it just has the blade in there that spins around, and of course the tines that spin around. Now the challenge arises is when you are making nut butters and you want to make them to a fine, super creamy consistency. The challenge happens that these little holes in the screen is supposed to be used when you're making nut milk, can also be used to make nut butters. The problem is if you're making a super fine consistency, the nut butter gets so fine that it actually starts to come out the pores, which means it's going to be a little bit harder to clean up. That being said, it will work just fine in this bowl, but I really like that actually they came out with a bowl just for me, so I don't have to clean all these extra parts, right? I guess there's one extra larger part to clean, this inner bowl insert with the screens, plus you have that larger outer bowl, plus, things also can get stuck here in the spigot, whereas this actually has deleted the spigot and is a lot easier to clean, a lot less surface air to clean as well, so I definitely think this is a nice upgrade. In addition, I want to remind you guys that the Nutramilk is a commercial quality appliance, right? I mean, it's a bit expensive for what it is, but when you understand, this was not built for the homeowner. This was built for like coffee shops so they could actually make fresh nut milks to serve in their high-end cappuccino coffees, or whatever. And because it is commercially certified, of course you guys could use it at your home, but this is like a really durable product. BPA free as far as I'm aware, and also I mean all this is like really heavy duty stuff, so if you're used to getting like high quality stuff in your kitchen, this is it. This is not some inexpensive nut butter maker that like is $40 on eBay, right? This is like the high end one that's gonna last many years to come. Alright, So I guess without further ado, what I want to do in this episode is I want to just do two quick things. I want to make, number one, make a nut butter. My favorite nut butter. It's we're going to use macadamia nuts, but the amazing thing with the Nutramilk, with the new smoothie and nut butter attachment here, or container, you can literally make any nut or seed butter. So if you want to turn sunflower seeds into sunflower seed butter, you could do that. If you want to do a mixture of sunflower, macadamia nut butter, you guys could do that. If you want to do pistachio butter, if you want to do filbert butter, or hazelnut butter, or Brazil nut butter, pine nut butter, pumpkin seed butter, basically if it's a nut and or seed, it has a good oil content in there, it could turn into a butter. Hemp nut butter, sorry you can't make flax butter, that's not really going to work, although you could add flax seeds into your other butters to better offset some of the high omega-6s that are appearing in many nuts. So I would encourage you guys always to add at least a tablespoon of flax seeds into your nut butters to give them a better omega-3 to 6 balance. Alright? So yeah, you can make your own different kind of nut butter, but then in addition, you guys can get creative. That's one of the things I like the most about me, is that I'm really creative. I like to, hey, what if I did this? Or what if I did that? And actually, I sold the nut butter, one of these machines, to a lady. I forget where she was working at some university, and she was experimenting on making all these different kind of nut milks and flavoring them with different, dried fruits and things at the health food store, and putting in different kind of spices. I mean, you could make your own, cashew curry, I don't know, mango flavored nut milk, out of using real foods. And I mean, I think that's really the benefit to me. Like, if you guys are just still buying the processed foods with the artificial DHA or BHA, BHT, monodiglycerides, GMO cottonseed oil that's in there, they're adding different sugars and salts and all these things, right? Don't save your money, don't buy one of these, continue to buy your junk food at the store. But for those of you guys that actually want to eat healthy, right, this is the machine you need, because now you can create your own creations, including extra ingredients, and that's where I really like this. So today, one of my favorite nut butters when I was a kid, my mom only would let us have this on rare instances, it was that peanut butter, I think it was called Goobers, I forget, it was the peanut butter and every other, it was like already mixed in with the jelly, so literally you could scoop out the peanut butter with the jelly, and it was like so delicious, but that's not the healthiest food in my opinion, knowing what I know now. So I'm going to try to recreate that in the Nutramilk. I could easily do that, because what I'm going to do today is we're going to go ahead and take the nuts, which we have macadamia nuts, one of my favorite nuts to eat in the entire world, and then we're going to go ahead and use some blueberries and some fresh harvested dates from this year that are actually nice, creamy, and gooey. So what this is going to simulate a nut butter that I'm making with the macadamia nuts, and then I'm going to get the blueberries for like that jelly-like filling, and then, and that's also high antioxidant foods, which I want you guys to eat highly pigmented, high antioxidant foods, along with the dates, which will add some kind of like a little bit of the gooiness. I wish these were like fresh barley dates, but this is the best I got right now. But some of the gooiness, also some of the sweetness to go along with my nut butter, so this stuff should absolutely be incredible. Anyways, let's get started. We're going to go ahead and take off the nut milk attachment right there, and actually later in this episode we will be making a nut milk, so you guys can see that process, but this is the first time I'm using this dedicated nut butter attachment here. It just snaps on really easily, really quickly there. And we're going to go ahead and take it out. I mean, this machine could not be simpler. Really, all we're going to do is we're just going to go add in, we got 2 cups of macadamia nuts. We're going to make sure our tines are in there. And we're going to go ahead and put the top on so that it is properly locked into place there. And we're going to go ahead and put this down in place. And then we've got the machine turned on. And all you got to do is literally hit 2 buttons. Hit the butter button and hit the start button. And then it's just going to run for a pre-designated amount of time, and if it is done earlier, you can just go ahead and stop it and take out your nut butter. So we're just going to go ahead and start this up and let it turn into some butter. Maybe what we'll do is we're just going to go ahead and give you guys a close-up while it is making this nut butter for you, so you guys can see the process. Alright, so as you guys just saw, this machine was able to turn the macadamia nuts into macadamia nut butter quickly and easy, literally just a matter of minutes. Now we have a nice, literally, I mean, this thing is like a liquid. It's a little bit warm too at the same time. But now I want to make my nut butter even better. So we're just going to go ahead and add in about 1 cup of freeze-dried blueberries. You know, I do encourage you guys, if you guys are adding to your nut butter recipes, right, you want them to last inside the fridge or to be able to store them, use only dried fruits. You can put fresh blueberries in here, absolutely, but then because there's moisture in there, that will tend to mold in the fridge and it will not last any long period of time. You know, if you're going to make it for right then and there, the next day or two, yes, use some fresh blueberries, but then that's also going to change the consistency of your nut butter. I like to only use freeze-dried and dried fruits. I think we have some maybe like 10 dates in here. So we got 10 dates and 1 cup of the freeze-dried blueberries that we've now added to our nut butter mixture. And these are like fresh, like whole foods. And now we're going to go ahead and put it back in there. And we're going to go ahead and just hit the butter button again and let it run and fold this these fruits into my nut butter, and then we'll come back and we'll show you what we got. Alright, so this has been running probably about 6 minutes or so, and as you guys can see, the mixture is folded really nicely into my macadamia nut butter. So now we literally have macadamia nut butter, blueberries and dates. And so let's go ahead and take this out. I want to show you guys the consistency. Look, this is like so liquidy, right? We can even pour it. This is like supermarket quality. Like, you know, when you buy nut butters at the supermarket, it like comes out like literally like drippy like this. Like every other appliance I've tried, like juicers, blenders, they don't really get this consistency. But really the way the Nutramilk is designed, it really breaks down all the nuts and does an excellent job at that. Now, this is a little bit warm, but I don't think it's super hot at all. And so, yeah, that's what it looks like. Super pourable. Man, that stuff smells amazing. And I gotta try this for you guys since I'm so hungry. This is like macadamia nut, blueberry, and dates. And of course, you know, if you want to make it better, you can add different spices to it. You know, cinnamon, add a little bit of salt if you need that or whatever. But we're just gonna go ahead and put a little bit on. My favorite way to eat the nut butters is right on some fresh fruit. So here we have some inorganic apple here. Put a nice nut butter on there. Let's go ahead and taste it for you guys. Oh my God, that's so amazing. I've never created such a thing before. Honestly, this totally reminds me of like being a kid and having like that peanut butter with jelly like mixed in. I mean, literally you guys can make your own peanut butter and jelly stuff the healthy way with the Nutramilk and that new attachment. Anyways, I'm going to get this stuff cleaned up and we're going to come back at you and we're going to show you guys how easy it is, of course, to make a nut milk, which is the namesake of the Nutramilk. Alright, so now we're back and now I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to make a nut milk with the Nutramilk machine. This is where I really believe the machine shines. Hey, it made a great nut butter. Literally I have like, you know, one little 16-ounce jar of nut butter that like literally is priceless because you can't buy nut butter made with macadamia nuts. The freshest ones right off the tree, dehydrated from Hawaii. If you want a link is in the description where I get mine. Also with the freeze-dried blueberries, one of the highest antioxidant foods in the entire world, plus California-grown fresh dates that are nice, gooey, and ooey. This stuff's totally delicious. Anyways, you can do more than just making nut butters and smoothies in the Nutramilk. Its namesake is making nut milks. You can make any kind of nut milk you want, even seed milks, and let me show you guys how to do it. So number one, you're going to need to first turn the nuts into a nut butter. So we have literally 1 cup of almonds, raw almonds going right into the machine. And much like in making nut butter, we're just going to go ahead and assemble this machine and turn it on and let this turn into a butter. So I want to go ahead and give you guys a close-up on how that works. Alright, so as you guys can see, let's go ahead and turn that off. The almonds were turned literally into an almond nut butter in the Nutramilk machine in probably like 8 minutes. Now, the time it takes to process your nuts may vary. You know, the macadamia nuts are high oil content. The Nutramilk is designed to basically make nut butters. It happened in like 3 minutes. I let it go a little bit longer to make sure we had a nice creamy consistency. And if you listen very carefully, like actually I left the room, I listened very carefully. You could kind of hear once it starts to make a butter, and then additionally when it was making the macadamia nut butter, it was almost making this flapping sound, like it was like literally pulling out all the oil and the moisture out of the macadamia nuts So I literally heard that flapping around in there. It was really interesting. Anyways, the first step is once you make the nut butter like we did, now you have to add the liquids and also your flavoring. So let's go ahead and pull this up. And in this case, what we're going to do, we used 1 cup of nuts. We're going to add basically 32 ounces of the liquid there. And you know, you could use some kind of filtered water. And you know, if you guys are buying nut milks at the store, you know, hopefully they're filtering the water before they make the nut milks, because basically when you're buying nut milk at the store, you're mostly buying all the water. So the water is paramount. I don't actually even like to use filtered water. What I like to use instead is coconut water. So this is 100% pure coconut water going right into my nut milk that I'm making. And when you have the machine yourself, you have the choice. Maybe you got some orange juice and you want to infuse the orange juice with nut milk. You guys could do that. You could put orange juice instead of the coconut water that I'm using today. You could use a filtered water, you could use a reverse osmosis water, distilled water, an ionized water, alkaline water, a hydrogen water, whatever you guys want, right? You have the choice, and that's the biggest thing. I love bringing appliances to you guys that give you guys a choice so that you could make exactly what you want. Like if you want to infuse carrot juice with milk, right? You could make the nut butter and then put carrot juice in there and let it extract the nut milk out of that. The other thing you guys could do besides choosing your liquid, you could choose your flavoring agents. So, you know, if I want to, I could put some salt, which I could just, you know, put a little bit of salt in there, make it taste a little bit better. If I wanted to, I could take some cinnamon, put it in there. We could have like a cinnamon flavored nut milk now. And of course, you got to add the sweetener. I don't encourage you guys to use any kind of sugars or anything like that. Even coconut palm sugar, raw coconut sugar, like whatever, all that stuff. We do not want to use extracted sugars. We want to use whole food sources of sugars, because as much as there are some sugar in these fresh or dried dates, there's also other nutrients, fiber, vitamins, and minerals, and antioxidants. And plus, well, of course, we're going to get some of that sweetness, but it's coming along with the fiber. So we're going to go ahead and put, I think we got, in this case, 16 dates going right in that I've hand-pitted myself. And then we're going to go ahead and put this top back on. I always want to make sure this little thing here, it's got some magnets. You want to make sure that's always facing the back, otherwise your machine will not turn on. We lock that in place. We're going to go ahead and put the spinner down. And now we're simply going to hit the mix button. It's going to mix for 1 minute, but since we are adding the dates, normally if you're just adding the water, it'd be fine, but since we are adding the dates, we're going to go ahead and crank that up to 3 minutes. Then we're just going to go ahead and hit the start button. Alright, so as you guys can see, it mixed it up really nice. We're going to go ahead and put our pitcher underneath there. And we're going to go ahead and hit the dispense button. It goes for 1 minute. We're going to hit start. And now we're just going to go ahead and open this spigot, and look at this. Instantly, quickly, and easily, we are getting all our nut milk dispensed out. No more straining with a cheesecloth or a nut milk bag. You don't have to do any of that stuff with the Nutramilk here, because literally the centrifugal force forces out the liquid through the screen holes and then out the spigot right in the front here, so that nut milk was never easier to make in your home. Alright, 4 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. I like to tip this up just a little bit to get all the extra goodness out. You know, doing it this way, you may get a little bit more fiber inside there, but let me tell you guys, because this machine turns the nuts into nut butter first, there's very little particulate. And the cool thing about this is, you know, you ever strain nut milk through a nut milk bag, and then after you're done, you have all the fibers left inside. I want to show you guys actually what's left inside this machine after we've literally extracted the nut milk. I mean, there's a few splashes and whatnot here. And this is what this looks like, really super easy to clean. Here's the strainer screen. It's basically just pretty much like nothing's on here. We're going to put it on here so it doesn't drip everywhere. Then I want to show you guys this bowl, right? Look in this bowl. Like normally if you make nut milk, you're going to have lots of waste. Inside this bowl, I mean, literally you don't see really much. There's like a little bit of nuts in the bottom hanging out, but there's still just a lot of liquid, you know? And of course you could just go ahead and, like, you know, pour this in. This is kind of like the thicker stuff to give you a more nice, rich, full-bodied nut milk there coming right out. But, I mean, after draining out all this, I don't know if you guys could even see that inside there. Literally, there's like nothing left. So this way you're getting full utilization of your nuts. You're not going to make any kind of nut meal or nut flour, because, I mean, literally it's all in the nut milk. And in my opinion, you know, in this way, the nut milk you're making in the Nutramilk is much healthier, because if you guys are on a whole food plant-based diet, right, nut milks generally how they're made, they're not a whole food because you're extracting all the fiber. But in this case, the way the Nutramilk works, it breaks down that fiber so much that literally it is not even tasteable. Is that even a word? All right, so let's go ahead and pour this out. Fresh almond, date, cinnamon, nut milk made fresh with full fiber. And look at that consistency. It's a really nice consistency. I mean, if you guys are into coffee drinks, you get some kind of like whatever coffee concentrate added to this, probably amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and try this on the camera for you guys. Now I want to let you guys know, I do taste some fine particulate in there, and that's probably because at the end, after I took it all apart, I drained in the rest. But if you didn't do that, you probably wouldn't taste too much particulate, and even then, the particulate gives actually the nut milk a really nice mouth feel. I love this nut milk a lot. It's one of the best I've ever tasted. It's definitely a lot more creamy and a lot more rich than other nut milks you'll get by just using a blender and a nut milk bag, or even a juicer for that matter. There's no other appliance like the Nutramilk on the market, and if you guys want to make nut milks, get your family off the dairy products, and more importantly, make these amazing nut butters, you guys will definitely want to get a Nutramilk machine. And I'm glad to say, when you buy the Nutramilk from Discount Juicers, not only will you get a 200-page recipe book that has all these nice full-colored recipes, you will also get this guy right here, which is really nice. It's 100% glass storage container, so when you basically extract your nut milks, and you could make hold 2 liters in this container at one time, just dispense that out, store this in your fridge, and then you can easily just pour the nut milk out, one serving at a time as you need it. Now, I don't encourage you guys to make super huge batches of nut milks and have it in there for any long length of time being stored. You want to make nut milks just enough for the next day or the next 2 days, maybe 3 days at the most, and so that it's never sitting around long enough, right? This is why the store-bought nut milks have to have preservatives, because once you make a fresh product, right, it can expire, it can go bad, right? It can start to ferment. So just make as much as you will need. That being said, I'll tell you guys, once you start making the nut milks and you make it like this, I mean, I could literally drink this whole this whole quart in like one day. This stuff is super delicious. So it shouldn't be a problem for this literally disappearing out of your fridge, once your family and friends know it's there. I mean, your kids, your husband, your wife, they'll start drinking this stuff because, you know what, it's going to taste amazing because you could make it to their exact taste buds. If they haven't liked nut milk before because that stuff from the store tastes watery, and frankly, in my opinion, it is compared to this stuff, this is the richest nut milk you guys will ever find or be able to create on your own. If you guys are interested in getting the Nutramilk, hey, be sure to check the links down below in the description and the first comment. That'll take you directly to my website so you guys can purchase this machine. If you guys enjoyed my episode, I would encourage you guys to support me by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. This allows me to directly make these videos, to make my educational and many other educational videos online to educate people about what I've learned about living a healthy lifestyle now for the last 23 years. Also, be sure to like this video if you want more videos in the future with the Nutramilk. I love doing the videos demonstrating the different appliances because I get all the different ones and I get to play and literally be a chef in the kitchen. Also, be sure to visit discountjuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors. And also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below and make sure you hit the little bell even if you are already subscribed so you get notified when my new and exciting episodes come out every about 5 to 7 days. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. I will link down below a few videos I have done in the past with the Nutramilk, using it more in detail and sharing, how it works. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 500 episodes at this time, comparing and contrasting different kinds of juicers, blenders, and now vacuum blenders, and soon freeze dryers, so you guys can get the right appliance, so you guys can get more fresh fruits and vegetables and other whole food, plant-based foods in you. So with that, my name is John Colo with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.